With the big upcoming bout between Wilder and Fury just days away, we thought revisiting the 2013 clash between Wilder and Haye would be a good place to start. The footage caused quite a stir some 7 years ago, arguably diminishing Wilder's name. But what 2013 was the start of a new era for heavyweight boxing. Anthony Joshua just turned pro and quickly made waves as the brightest prospect in world boxing. Both Fury and Wilder were established contenders at arm's length of a world title shot. And the top three in the eyes of many were the Klitschko brothers and the hard-punching but often injury-prone David Haye.
Prior to 2016, unfortunately had to take a few years off of injury, but I'm back.
In my opinion, the strongest heavyweight lineup since the 90s. Only now, they needed to start fighting each other before being constrained and bound by different eras.
This idiot's getting knocked back out, and I'm sick to death of this. This motherfucker is going to sleep.
On July 9th, Fury confirmed he'd be fighting David Haye at the Manchester Arena in September later that year. Haye, putting on his calm and collected persona as he so often did, tried to convince the public that Fury would be nothing but a demolition job.
Come a hashtag nap time, Dyson Fury.
Yet behind the scenes, the most vigorous training camp of his career had begun.
What's going on? This is David Haye, aka the Haymaker. We've got 2 weeks to go till Tyson Fury gets knocked out on September 28th.
Hey, all I gotta say, hard work, baby. We're going down, man. It's personal business.
Haye told his trainer Adam Booth straight, "I only want the biggest and strongest fighters for sparring." And within days, his gym was packed with dangerous young talent. Filip Ergovic, Richard Towers, Mariusz Wach, and Deontay Wilder were the fighters of note, with the latter flying in from America with an undefeated record of 29-0 with 29 knockouts.
It's been a great camp, man. I enjoyed all the guys that's been in here, and I'm gonna look back for years later and be like, yo, we had fun in that camp.
One could only imagine some of the legendary action that went down over the weeks ahead. Unfortunately, the footage we're left with is heavily edited down to just over a minute. Here is some of the action. As you can see, David appeared to rock Wilder a few times during the clips, and whenever the American came back, it seemed Haye used his lateral movement and athleticism to evade any punishment. Pretty damning evidence of Haye getting the better of Wilder, and the fact it was uploaded to YouTube with the title Haye Smashes Wilder certainly added to what was already speculated. And then, just 1 week away from his showdown with Tyson Fury, this happened.
Okay, David, first of all then tell us what's happened.
Yes, final sparring session last night. Got a cut.
How did it happen?
I don't know, second round, everything was going okay, and went back to the corner, cut. Wholeheartedly apologised to him and his team and everybody who, excited and wanted to watch this fight. I know millions of people, it's horrible.
Haye admitted that on the very last day of his scheduled sparring sessions, a nasty gash opened up, requiring multiple stitches and eventually leading to the Fury fight being cancelled for good.
You know what I'm saying? But, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just pretty pissed off with it all, to be honest. Put all this work in, spend all that money, and just end up with nothing, really. Because I always said he was going to pull out. Kept saying, don't pull out, but can't help cuts, can you? Things were going wrong. George Groves left the camp, so it must have been a camp. I heard he was getting done in sparring.
The finger was quickly pointed at the big kid from the States. However, a source from the Haye camp later revealed it was the big Croatian amateur, Filip Ergovic, that opened up the eye.
The rule in boxing, you never talk about sparrings, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I gained some confidence from that sparring session.
For most people, that's where the story ended. Haye appeared to have had a decent camp, likely got the best of Wilder and the rest of them, and then suffered a freak injury, and the rest is history. Well, it wasn't until the Haymaker hung up the gloves for good that he started spilling the beans.
Oh,
Is
Because
he the
might
hardest
punch
you've been hit?
Yeah,
You
by
know,
a long,
you've
by a long,
sparred
with
with
head
him.
guard by a long shot. No, I've been hit by lots of people, and significantly, I felt the difference between his punch. I remember the first right hand, I kind of blocked the right hand here, and it hit me on top of the head here, and I remember just thinking, this guy can really punch. So at that point, I had to really switch on like it was a fight. Now, I've had him in training camp with myself a couple of times. I've used him as a chief sparring partner, and he's the hardest person I've ever been hit by in my life. And I've been hit by a lot of big people, and he, without question of a doubt, is the hardest single puncher I've ever been in the ring with. His right hand is like getting hit by a sledgehammer.
Once he retired, there was no reason to protect his image, so to speak. Dave Coldwell, a former coach in the Haymaker camp, told FightHype.com David landed bombs on his chin. He laughed him off and came back with some spiteful work of his own. The former heavyweight contender Richard Towers, seen here on the right, took things a step further in 2018 when he insisted to BoxingNews.com that Wilder wiped the floor with Haye.
Deontay whacks the hardest I've ever been punched. He hits hard. He hits so hard. That guy punches harder than Tyson. He punches harder than Dillian. He punches harder than Vladimir Vital. He punches hard. That's all I can say.
For me personally, Towers has always come across as a straight-talking guy. He doesn't seem the type to make something like this up, but you can't say for sure. Haye's head trainer at the time, Adam Booth, has never commented on the sparring, but through the words of Haye himself during the build-up back in 2013, it appeared he was perhaps opposed to the idea of sparring him in the first place.
Just going back to your sparring, you said you've been pushed to the limit. What have you been doing differently? Is there anything that's been changed this time around?
I said to Adam Booth, my coach, he said, what are we going to do for sparring? I said, a bit stupidly, I said, I want the best possible sparring. I said, I want the toughest, the biggest, toughest, strongest guys. And Adam said, you sure? I said, yeah, bring them in.
On March 1st, 2018, the Sky Sports Boxing channel uploaded a video titled Deontay Wilder, The Journey So Far. And at roughly the 11th minute mark, there was new footage from that now infamous camp in 2013. Sadly, not much was about the sparring with Wilder and Haye itself, but it gave me the incentive to reach out to the original production team and inquire for some licensing for more of the sparring sessions. It's been nearly a month now, and we, unfortunately, have not received a reply. We did our best to unearth as much of the footage and interview material as we could. I personally feel Deontay got the best of Haye all those years back. Still, the biggest crime in the story was Haye jeopardizing the Fury fight by perhaps overloading his camp with what you could argue were incompatible sparring partners. There were a lot of rumors that Haye even faked the injury to duck Fury, which to me seems entirely nonsensical. Yet I was one of those fans in 2013 that was convinced the 6'9" Gypsy King had his number.